Shalom. We're the I.S.U.P.K. coming out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanna. My name is Officer Hamakorbach, and I would like to welcome you to the I.S.U.P.K. Louisville class. And tonight's topic is going to be Jubile, aka Jubile. 50 years of truth for restoration. Okay, if you're in the ranks of the I.S.U.P.K., you know that we're coming upon the 50th anniversary for the school. Now, I haven't heard many people teach on this, but it's a very important point to make because it's very significant in the scriptures, in the eyes of the Most High. So we're going to go into the scriptures tonight and break down what the Jubilee really means. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohanna has been a force to bring the truth of the Most High's word into all the world, the whole planet. Now, there are groups out there claiming to be in the truth, but can they claim this monumental event? They can't. And we're going to go into the scriptures. We're going to find out what the Most High wants us to understand about the Jubilee and how that pertains to us and us being restored to our heritage. So if I could, let's go into the book of Leviticus chapter 25 and let's start at verse 8. I would like to remind everybody watching the stream to share the class and invite friends to watch.
Book of Leviticus chapter 25 verse 8. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee.
Okay, 7 Sabbaths of years. Now, we know that the Sabbath day is the 7th day, right? But this is saying 7 Sabbaths of years. So that means 7 years. Go ahead.
And the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years.
So that's 7 sevens, right? What's 7 times 7? It's 49, right? Go ahead.
Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month.
Okay, that's the Day of Atonement. But what that's saying is like, you see us with the shofar. We don't have one tonight, but that's what they're talking about here, blowing the shofar, right? I think it's called the Jubile, or in Hebrew. I might be wrong on that. Go ahead.
In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 15th year and proclaim liberty.
Did it say 50th year?
Salakia. And ye hallow the 50th year.
Okay, the 50th year, right? Now, I'm not saying that, we know exactly when the Jubilee dates was in the biblical days. But here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are restoring the heritage of Israel, Yasharallah in the Hebrew, since 1969. Now this is 2019. 50 years, man. We're going to find out why the Most High is mentioning this. Because, see, even though a lot of this going to the land over there, there's some spiritual truths that are at hand also. and apply to us even today. Go ahead.
And proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof.
Okay, now when we was in our land in Israel, the land mass in Israel, right? There were different laws that we had instituted. Laws on service, laws on servitude, and things like that. Now what the Jubilee deals with is restoration. Restoration of property, restoration of land, different things. Now, I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be back in our land. I don't know. It's possible too. It's possible. The scriptures say all things are possible, you know, to him that believe. I'm just paraphrasing. But what I am saying is that in our spirit, we know that we're getting our culture back. And the spearhead of that is in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohanna. Man, for 50 years, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been putting it down and bringing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians back to their culture, back to our culture, to the Most High. And that's why this is important, because the Jubilee is about restoration. We are being restored to our heritage, right? Those fake groups out there, they can't take claim to being in the game for 50 years, basically. You know what I mean? And especially in such a crucial time as now. Man, they talking about, well, we almost been here for 2019, 400 years. You heard that one, and they saying all this. Now, we not putting dates out there, right, but at the same time, we are in crunch time. You see what I'm saying? So we got to be aware of how these things are converging, right? Go ahead.
It shall be a jubilee unto you, and you shall return every man unto his possession.
Every man unto what?
His possession.
Man, now, if you go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, you realize that we lost a lot of things. We lost a lot of possessions. We lost our land. We lost our culture. We lost our heritage. We lost many things. The Jubilee was a time where the Most High restored. Read that part again, that last part.
And ye shall return every man unto his possession.
Every man unto his possessions, man. That could be a plethora of things, right? Go ahead.
And ye shall return every man unto his family.
Every man unto his family. Now, in a sense, that means, like, some of our people were servants in different lands, in that sense. But in a spiritual sense, there's reconciliation that's going to come about with many of our families. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
A jubilee shall that 50th year.
Yeah, how many years?
50th year.
Go ahead.
Be unto you.
Be unto who?
You.
So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The 50th year in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge shall be unto you. The Jubilee, man, it's a time of celebration. Commander General Yohanna has been grinding, and he done raised up the Lord's army. You see what I'm saying? That's why we're here today. And we still going forward in power and in strength, right? So it's a year of particular, man, I don't want to sound Christian-y, but I mean, it can be supernatural in a sense, right? The Most High can bring about so much, you know, power and glory upon blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to come into the school that it's going to be undeniable that we are the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it.
Now, this is talking about the actual land. Now, think, too, I'm going to give you some practical concepts and spiritual concepts of this, right? Now, that was the reason why we was kicked out of the land, because we did not observe the Sabbaths of the land. Now, that was to let the land rest. In a practical sense, now, if you know about farming, there's a term called husbandry, right? You plant the seeds, and then when it's time to, you know, reap, the harvest, you do that every year. It was like a cycle. But the 7th year, the land was to lay fallow. It was to rest. One reason why I was supposed to rest is, in the practical sense, was for the minerals, you know what I'm saying, to replenish in the ground. You know, they come up to the surface. Now, I don't have all the scientific data, but I mean, you know what I'm saying, common sense would tell you that. But here in America, here in Babylon, what do? They have a big farming produce every year, and they just keep growing and growing and growing, and wonder why the food is so devitalized. You know what I mean? GMO foods, right, trying to make a buck. And that goes to show you that they are not the children of God, because they don't follow the laws of the Most High, right? If you got any questions out there, make sure you type them in. Shout out to Officer Rock in Indianapolis, Indiana, the head of Kentucky here. Shalom, Madawan. Shout out to Officer Isaac Ariah in Indianapolis. Shout out to him. Shout out to Akaz Yahawada. Shout out to Wada, Kwashah, Yasharala, UPK. Shout out. Yeah. But that's one aspect. Now, the spiritual sense, read that part again, because I want to break that down about the land, the last precept.
Neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of thy vine undressed.
Okay. Now, this was to give us discipline, too. The Most High was trying to ensure that we was disciplined. If he told us not to gather the grapes, he's basically giving us boundaries. You see what I'm saying? Think about that. And if you say, don't take that chip, it's there, but don't take it. What is that in a true sense? What is that? I'm asking you, Trooper. What is that? Okay, the Most High is telling us not to do something. In its truest sense, why is he telling us not to do it? In this instance, he's saying not to gather grapes. I just pretty much gave you the answer. Think about that in anything. If somebody tell you not to do something, a father, think like a father. You think like you tell your child.
Man, in a sense, all I could think of is that it's just trying to help you out in a way you not realizing at that point. Like, I don't know, maybe it's the grapes, not because he don't want you drinking wine at the time. I don't know, like, how you could put it though.
Okay, you own it, but I'm looking for something just a little bit more, detailed. Okay, don't even think about the grapes. I mean, think about anything. Like a father, you tell him, don't touch that hot stove, or you better not open that door while I'm not home. You know what I'm saying? Now, in this sense, it's grapes, but I pretty much put it out there. If you was paying attention, you, in the truest sense, like a father, like the Most High, he thinks like a father because he is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of people, that's why a lot of females don't get the scriptures, because they don't have the mindset of a father.
Right.
A father's always looking toward the betterment of his children. He has foresight, looking toward the future. He sees things that the child can't see, right? So he's putting boundaries there for a reason. One of the reasons is discipline. He just told you not to do it. Don't eat of the fruit of the garden, of that tree. That's a boundary. That's just a simple thing. He ain't got to explain why. You know what I'm saying? Just like you don't explain to your children why. Why? Don't you better not open that cabinet. It might be or you better not go in that closet. I better not ever catch you in that damn closet. You know your pieces in that closet, your gun. But here's the thing. We're going to go further into that chapter, and we're going to realize that Israel, we disobeyed that law of keeping those Sabbaths of the land. I mean, this is very significant because that's the reason why we got kicked out of that land. You see what I'm saying? It went into the captivity. You know what I'm saying? For not keeping, those laws. Matter of fact, let's go into the book of, I think it's in Daniel chapter 9 and verse 24. White man's the devil, the Bible speaks of, because he has deceived us and had us believe that the so-called Jewish man over there in Israel is the recipient of the restoration promises of the Jubilee. Well, that's a goddamn lie. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people.
Okay, 70 weeks. When they say in that week, go ahead, finish it, then I'll break it down.
And upon thy holy city.
Okay, that's talking about Jerusalem. Go ahead.
To finish the transgression.
Okay, to finish the transgression. That transgression, you know what I'm saying, we sinned in that land. That's why we got kicked out of that land. You think about Daniel, you know, that was when, you know, he was in captivity. We was in the captivity during that time. Go ahead.
And to make an end of sins.
To make an end of sins. So it's like we did our time. We did our time. You see the parallel? Okay, it's a parallel, just like when we got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, you know, a heavenly state. There was a boundary. We couldn't go back into that. Same thing. Look at the parallel. Same thing is in the home in Jerusalem, right? Once we sinned against the Most High, we couldn't be in that land. You see the parallels there?
Right.
Go ahead.
And to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity.
Reconciliation for iniquity. Iniquity is just like our intentional sin, right? Drop that and go back into the book of Leviticus, the 25th chapter, and I think he was around 13, 14, somewhere up in there. Salaki.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 12. For it was the Jubilee, it shall be holy unto you.
It should be what?
Holy unto you.
Now, what does holy mean? You know what I mean? It's separate. The Jubilee is not for everybody. The Jubilee is for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians on the earth today. It's not for the white man, for the Edomites, Moab, the Chinese, Ammon, the Japanese, Elam, the East Indians, Cush, them Hamites, none of them. That's not who the Jubilee or what the Jubilee is supposed to, it's not for them, Salaki. It's for us. Because we the ones that need restoration, right? They living good, you know what I'm saying? Got businesses in our neighborhoods. What they need to be restored for, you know what I'm saying, for? They already got it going on in our hood. You see what I mean? We are the one that need to be restored. And first we need to be restored in our minds before we can get all the stuff. Because the Most High can give us all the stuff, but if we still have the mindset of these heathens, these in here in Sodom and Gomorrah, Mystery Babylon, we ain't gonna do nothing but fuck it off, so to speak. You know what I mean? Just like that tax money. Where that tax money at? It gone. You know what I mean? Until you get your mind right, you ain't gonna know how to handle the blessings that the Most High wants to bestow upon us. You know, we ain't gonna know how to do that. So the Most High, the first phase of that restoration is the psyche in our minds. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to govern Salaki, our emotions and our decisions. And then the Most High will start working on our behalf as far as giving us restoration of the land and all the other promises that he wants to bestow upon so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right? Tonight's class, Jubilee, a.k.a. Jubilee, 50 years of truth for restoration. Matter of fact, look up the definition of restoration, because we got to know exactly what that means. I keep saying it. I mean, to me, it's simple enough, but I want it to be defined, because this is a very significant thing. This might not be the most exciting class, but it's necessary because that's the whole purpose of this Passover, right? 50 years of restoring so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians back to our heritage as a nation first. Then, as we progress as a people with our customs, our laws, then we can restore our government. And that government is in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohanna. Nowhere else. The Christian church is not going to restore you. The Muslim mosque is not going to restore you. Egyptology, the conscious community, all these people out here thinking that Nipsey Russell, Nipsey Hussle, whatever his name is some type of prophet that's going to restore black people. No, he lied to black people. He told black people that he was one of them. Meanwhile, he's a goddamn Egyptian. You see what I'm saying? He was doing the opposite of restoring black people. He was an Egyptian. His girl was a graham cracker, an Edomite. Meanwhile, he's just like them other heathens that's in the hood, selling black people goods, cheap goods, and making money off of black people. And he's some type of savior that they're crying about today that they think is going to restore black people. That's a goddamn lie, man. They need to holler at Commander General Yohanna. They need to be applauding and championing Commander General Yohanna. You understand? You got that definition of restoration?
Restoration, definition. The act of returning something to a former owner.
Go ahead.
Place or condition.
Place or condition, right? At this point, we got to get our condition right first. And the only place you're going to do that is in the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, living by the laws, statutes, and commandments. You're not going to learn it in the Christian church. You're definitely not going to learn it from some homosexual wearing a pink nightgown or purple, whatever color they wear. You know, one of them Victoria's Secret colors. You feel what I'm saying? You know, blush or something like that. That's probably what they're coming out with next. But yeah, you're not going to learn it from them cats because they believe in homosexuality. And we don't. We believe in the laws of the Most High. Right? So, restoration, because we need to be restored from this goddamn sinful place, man. Many of our children are messed up. That's just like, you see that with Dwayne Wade's son now?
Oh.
Now, this is a little bitty boy that now he's just a borderline, I don't know what he is. I don't want to say it, you know what I'm saying? But he's a homosexual, a kid. And then he come downstairs talking about he wants some cookies and milk. Boy, you ain't get no cookies and milk. You remember that, right? That's him. That's his son. You know what I'm saying? And we need to be restored from that behavior. You are not going to find solace and restoration in the words of rappers like Nipsey Hussle or entertainers, ball players like Dwayne Wade. You're going to find it from his priests and prophets in the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General Yohanna. We're going to tell you what's up, man. Now, unfortunately, and this goes into my class, a lot of us have been exposed for loving heathens. That incident with Nipsey Hussle just exposed the love that we have for heathens and not our own. That was just like the Most High was taking an x-ray of our heart, our condition. And he says, he see that we got a condition of loving heathens. But here's the thing. Now that it's exposed, he can do something about it. So expect there to be a disconnect between a lot of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians with these heathens. The Most High is going to bring tension because he wants you to love him and not no goddamn heathen. Go ahead.
Yeah, what you said was just like too on point. Because I don't know if you noticed it. It's a bunch of tension right now. They boycotting Kodak Black. Kodak Black is a Haitian of the tribe of Levi. They boycott his music on the radio. Promoters dropping him from concerts. Everything just because he said that now that his wife is a widow, he would like to holler at her. They boycotting all his music all across the country for the African dude that passed away.
Sorry, tracks, man.
Tension is an understatement.
That's real heavy. Now, I'm going to bring out some points in that because according to my research, now, this Nipsey Hussle, his girl was, what's her name? Lauren London, which was Lil Wayne's baby mama. But this girl is an Edomite. Yeah, she's an Edomite. You can go look it up on Wikipedia. Her father was a so-called Jewish man. Right. He was a white man. Now, what Kodak Black is saying, in a sense, is right and it's wrong. Because according to the scriptures, you could marry a woman if her husband died. She became a widow. So in that sense, he's right. The only place that he's wrong is that the woman is an Edomite. Right. That's where he's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's where he needs to repent. But, hell, every rap song is about, man, I'm you know what I'm saying? Niggas, they talking about they gonna do this to this man's wife or whatever like that. Why? But this is the only time where he's actually somewhat right if she was a Israelite woman, because they say he was gonna give her a year time to grieve or something like that.
He said he was.
He's now it might have not been tasteful, but at least you know what I'm saying he didn't say that during you know what I'm saying where the man was alive. You know what I mean? Now I'm not saying that you know I condone his actions, but at the same time I'm not downing him either. I'm going by what the scriptures say, and according to the scriptures, if a woman's a widower, she can marry again. So in that sense, he's correct, according to the scriptures. I should bring that out. I don't know exactly where that's at, but that's the thing about it. We need to be restored to our laws, man. We need to be restored to our laws so we'll know how to handle these situations. You see how the world is? Now, they hate an Israelite man, but they love a goddamn Hamite. And the Most High sees that. And you can see the contrast in that. It's like, man. And it's nothing new under the sun. That's just like, you know, they hated Yahushua. They hated Christ. And they wanted Barabbas. You feel what I'm saying? They wanted Barabbas. They wanted this murderer and this killer. But they wouldn't respect, you know, Christ. He didn't do nothing wrong. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just showing you something in there. But yeah, go ahead.
I think it's 1 Corinthians 7 and 39.
Go ahead and bring it out. Let me see what it is. And that's why the white man's the devil, the Bible speaks of. Because he brings confusion, right? And I'm going to give you my thoughts on that whole situation with that Nipsey Hussle, because that's just trying to keep us from our restoration. You see what I'm saying? That's a distraction. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 7 and 39. The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth.
As long as what?
Her husband liveth.
Okay, now this Nipsey Hussle, he was killed. So he's not living anymore. Go ahead.
But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will.
Wow. And that's real. And now this applies to Israelite women. You know what I'm saying? Even though she's a goddamn heathen, you know, they ain't got no, they lawless, basically. You know what I'm saying? But it would behoove them to live as we do, because it would bode well for them. But yeah, we do it backwards. We do it backwards in our nation, blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. Hell, you can go out of town, or if your woman ain't Tawab, or you go down the street. You know what I'm saying? Or go to work. I ain't saying in every case, but we live in a whore society here in Babylon, here in the last days. And it's hard I don't know why it's hard for people to understand it, but it's hard for, us to have decent women because the system has enabled our women to be whores. And part of the restoration of the Jubilee is to bring us back to our culture. You see what I mean? The captives. All right. The water for that. Go back into Leviticus chapter 25. And I think he was around 13.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 13. In the year of this Jubilee, ye shall return every man unto his possession.
And that's the thing about it. That possession can be many things. Go to 14.
And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another.
Okay. Now, this is talking about like goods. Let me see. And thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another. You need to go into 15 for me to get the full context of this. Go ahead.
According to the number of years after the Jubilee, thou shalt buy of thy neighbor.
Okay. Now, we didn't have like slavery like the white man. We had like servitude. You ever heard of like indigent servants? You know what I'm saying? Because you could walk off a debt. Think of what Jacob did. He did that and worked off a debt for Laban, right? For Rachel and Leah, those years. I think he worked 7 years, and then he worked another 7 years, right?
Right.
And that's what was more like. But if that would have hit on the Jubilee, you know what I mean? He could have been set free from that. That's what the Jubilee was about, restoration in many different aspects, right? Let me see. Let me go down here and see. Because the Jubilee mostly is about restoration of property, land, and freedom from certain types of servitude. I'm going to go over some main points and show you how it applies today. Because a lot of this was dealing with things dealing with the land. And we're not in our land, but the concepts of freedom need to be applied. And the I.S.U.P.K has been doing that for 50 years, man. You know what I'm saying? It's significant. Now, the Most High can work for us. I mean, he's been working with us all along, but according to his word, he likes to do it up like big, like different time, what do you call it? Time marks or whatever, where he likes to do something special. And he wants to deliver so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians out of this goddamn captivity. But in order to do that, we need to come together as a nation, man. It ain't just going to... I think a lot of people just think that Christ is going to come back in the so-called UFOs or the IFOs or whatever and kill up all the white people, and then we just going to be free and do what we want to do. No, he's setting up a structure, government. You see what I'm saying? Putting brothers in rank and order, setting up a government to govern the people, because we need government. Out of all the people in the world, we need government, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, because we'll listen to anybody. You know, we can't govern ourselves. We try to do that, and what happens? We go wrong. Ask the black woman. You know what I'm saying? She thinks she can govern herself every goddamn day. She don't need no man. The system's her man. She got food stamps. She got Section 8. She got child support. She don't need you, black man. You just a sperm donor. That's what I've heard a lot of them say. But her end shows otherwise. Because that's why a lot of black women are winding up missing. But that's a whole nother class already done. Man, they need to be restored. And they have a head. And that head is that black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man you see out there on the street, on the bus, on the bike, walking down the street. He might be doing well, supposedly in this Babylonian system, but regardless of his financial status, that's still a head to a black woman. And part of the restoration is going to require that we feel the heat, that we in pain. Because as long as everything is going great in this place, seemingly, we just going to stay and enjoy it and be homeborn slaves. So the Most High is going to turn up the pressure here pretty soon. I believe that. I honestly do. Because otherwise, the scriptures, I'm just paraphrasing, said if he didn't cut the time short, it wouldn't be no flesh left. Hell, you could walk out the door as a homosexual, a whore, or some damn ghetto gagger, sodomite, something crazy. You know what I mean? I just got to give you, this is I.S.U.P.K. Louisville. We go hard down here. I'll be telling you that, man. But yeah, tonight's class, Jubile, a.k.a. Jubile, 50 years of truth for restoration. That's what the I.S.U.P.K. has been doing under Commander GEN.YAHANNA, man. Gathering information, diligently studying the scriptures, archaeological evidence, historical facts, coupled with current events, to validate and prove that these scriptures are true and real. And that if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, that these scriptures are talking about your heritage. That's part of the restoration here in the 50th, the year of Jubilee. Once again, anybody got questions, type in your questions or your comment. It's locked. What is this? They always put some stuff up here. But yeah, go to Leviticus, drop down in Leviticus chapter 25. Salakia. Devil playing tricks on my phone. Go to 28, if you could, Baba Kashah.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 28. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that have bought it until the year of Jubilee.
Okay, now this is going more into go up to 27 if you could.
27. Then let him count the years of the sale thereof.
Salaki, go up to 25.
25. If thy brother be waxen poor, and have sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it.
Okay, that's just like, you know what I'm saying, you got a car, you got a bike or something, like, man, you fall on a hard time. You like, man, it was kind of like pawning something to your family. You know what I'm saying? You sold it to your family member. In some cases, it was land. You were so desperate or something, you had to sell a piece of land where you grew things on it to somebody, in your family, because you wasn't supposed to be selling it to no stranger. But hell, that's why we need to come back to our heritage, because now, especially in that Christian church, black folks will sell their land to white developers, and then they have a Walmart there and stuff. That's just like in my family. We had a whole lot of land, down south, and they end up selling a lot of land to white people. They didn't pass it down as an inheritance like they supposed to in the scriptures. That's why when you give women, we had a lot of women, elders in the family, right? And land was passed down to them, but what did they do? They didn't think about none of us. They just went ahead and sold the goddamn land. You see what I'm saying? They didn't follow the scriptures. They wanted a quick buck. And in this sense, we had different laws that we were supposed to have amongst our people, how to handle and conduct business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You trying to deal and sell land to a damn heathen, you ain't never going to get that land back. But these laws right here was a provision where even if we did sell it to our people, that land wasn't going to be theirs forever. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead and finish reading that. I think it's in 25. Is that what you was at?
And if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold.
Okay. Now, somebody in his family could be like, man, I know that piece of land out there over yonder belonged to my brother. And this is the Jubilee. I want to get that because if you know anything about when we came over to Canaan, the Most High, he portioned the 12 tribes with specific land plots, right? We had specific lands, and within the 12 tribes, families had their specific lands within that. And that was supposed to be forever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But once we sinned, a lot of stuff got out of whack. We wasn't keeping the Sabbaths of the land. So the Most High did away with a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? So like, you got any questions? Online?
No, it was a friend request.
Okay, no sweat.
Somebody sent you a friend request.
All right, no sweat. But yeah, tonight's class, Jubilee, aka Jubilee, 50 years of truth for restoration. And that's part of the mission of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, is to restore our people onto their heritage. And that includes a lot of different things. We as the priests and prophets of the Most High, we teach our people these scriptures and how they are to live, man. And along with that, we teach them their heritage, to come back to their heritage and to separate from these goddamn heathens, man. They understanding their cultures and their ways of living. Otherwise, they're going to be captive, because restoration was all about release too. Release from being captive. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, go back into that scripture. Leviticus 25. I think you was at 28, somewhere around there.
Leviticus 25 and 28. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that have bought it until the year of Jubilee.
Until the what?
Year of Jubilee.
And let's find out what happens. Go ahead.
And in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return unto his possession.
Man, he shall return unto his possession. And that's the thing about it. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we've lost so much in this goddamn place here in America, man. We've lost so much. We've lost land. We've lost more than possessions, really. You know, we lost our lives, the lives of our loved ones. You know, can you buy that? You really can't. You can't really buy that. So somebody's gonna have to pay in blood. You see what I mean? And that's part of the restoration too, because some stuff you can't pay in money. You can't pay back pain in money. You can only pay back pain in pain. You feel what I'm saying? Really. I mean, I know they say that, your lawyer on TV say that, I'm gonna get you $100,000 for your accident or something. But, you know what I mean? Really, when it all said and done, hell, we want vengeance. But the scriptures say, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. That's in Romans, I think, 12 and 19 and somewhere around there. So let me drop down, Salaki. Let me find the scripture right quick. But that was one reason why we got kicked out of land, not observing the Jubilee, man. You know, the 50th year, seven times 7 years, right? It was 49 years, and that 50th year was supposed to be a time of rest for the land and the people, right? Slovakia. go to, if you could, go to Numbers chapter 36 and verse 4.
Book of Numbers, chapter 36, verse 4. And when the Jubilee of the children of Israel...
Wait a minute, of who?
Children of Israel...
So the Jubilee is not for everybody. You see a lot of white people talking about, oh, it's a Jubilee year. It's a 50th anniversary. It's not for everybody. And, of course, they added an extra E, you know what I'm saying, on how they spell it. Go ahead.
When the Jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received.
Okay.
So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers.
Okay, to understand this, I think we're going to need to go up to Salakia. I know what this means, but for everybody that's watching, I want to make it more detailed. Let's go up to, let's start at 1 up here. 36 and 1.
36 and 1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh.
The son of Manasseh, that's one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
Of the families of the sons of Joseph came near and spake before Moses and before the princes and chief fathers of the children of Israel.
Go ahead.
And they said, the Lord commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel.
Go ahead. And
my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters.
Okay, now let me break this down. That little Lord, when he say like my Lord, that's like is Adawan. Like he said, my Lord was commanded by the Lord.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brothers, unto the daughters. Because I think this is a situation where the men died, right? And it was left with the females. But see, females weren't supposed to have certain, or didn't have certain land rights. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's going to be a provision made, I think, in this instance. Go to verse 3 if you could, Baba Shah.
And if they marry to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers.
Okay, so it was like that inheritance, it could have been land. It was some land given to them daughters, but if they married men of other tribes, it's like, you know, let's say you a Judite or you a Gadite man, right? And you married a Judite female that was left with property. That land go to your tribe. You see what I'm saying? To Gad. That's what this is saying, in a sense. Right. Okay, go ahead, finish reading on 3.
And shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance.
Okay.
And when the Jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers.
Okay, it's about restoration, man. You see what I'm saying? And that was what the Jubilee was about. As far as the physical Jubilee, it was about a lot of laws, about restoration, about land and property. In a nutshell, I mean, we could go through that whole chapter, and they would just talk about different things, as far as restoring land and property in different contexts, as far as with relationships of your family members and how that worked, those different dynamics. But in the spiritual sense, here in Babylon, we are in a captivity. Of course, we're not in the land of Israel right now, so many of those things we can't literally institute, because we don't have any land and property like that. However, the restoration of our culture, that's the first thing. Awareness of who you are as an Israelite, if you're a so-called black, Hispanic, or Native Indian on the earth today, especially here in America, in Babylon, because we right there on the front line, man, in the trenches. Not saying that they don't have it rough in other countries throughout the world, but here, it's just a constant onslaught of sin, and, man, you got to deal with murders, you got to deal with theft, homosexuality, just gluttonous, lying, all kind of stuff, man. We got to deal with it on a constant basis. And then we got to smile with our oppressors like everything's cool. You know, that's the messed up thing about it. We got to smile, cheese, and act like everything's cool. Meanwhile, we getting killed. And then they put on an act like, oh, that was such a bad thing that the police shot that young boy. They don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? All that's just talk. They talk about that at the dinner table. That's their cousin that did that. You shot that black son of a bitch. That's how they talk. You know what I'm saying? Behind closed doors in their homes. We just don't see it like that. Because you listen to that homosexual Christian pastor. He is not going to restore you. Only Commander GEN.YAHANNA and the men of the I.S.U.P.K are going to restore you to your heritage. Hence tonight's topic. Jubile, a.k.a. Jubile, 50 years of truth for restoration. So with that said, we're going to cut the class short tonight. We're going to read the announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6-month period in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means tenth in the Hebrew. Mayashra, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. You can go to the website, www.isupk.com, and you can submit your tithes, your donation, and your tribute there. Priest Fund, free will offering for priests. It's not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation. Man, we talking about it tonight. The Big 5-0. In New York, Queens, New York, man, Commander GEN.YAHANNA pretty much shut down the whole city. You know, he's going to shut down the whole city. You know, clap it up for Commander GEN.YAHANNA. You know what I'm saying? I.S.U.P.K going to be in the whole city, you know, rocking it out, honoring the Most High. And you, if you are a so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and you want to present yourself before Commander GEN.YAHANNA, come to the Passover, man. Shop it up with your brothers, and make sure you support. It's $200 per person or family. Make sure you get there. You can go to the I.S.U.P.K Louisville YouTube channel. There's a video about hotel information and information on the event. It's going to be April 20th at sundown in Queens, New York. The 50th Passover. Hence tonight's topic, Jubile, 50 years of truth for restoration. And that's what we're about. I'm going to give a courtesy salute to all the brothers watching the stream. Majum Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai, Barak Atham, Yazmatah. Courtesy salute to all the sisters that might be watching. Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Athan, Bahashem, Yahushai, Yazmatah. Class dismissed.